Hello gamers and welcome to the third annual Super Ultra Podcast Arcade Half-Ass Game of the Year Awards for 2022. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on, Dom?
Alright, so we're going to do this. We've done this 2 years. This will be our third time doing it now. So, as in the other years, we're going to start off with our honorable mentions. Usually honorable mentions consist of games we did actually play. But it could be honorable mentions of games we didn't play too. Maybe we thought this won't be a top 10, but it's something that should be mentioned. Then we get into our top 10. Now, our top 10 is games that came out in 2022, but we don't get to play every game because we can't afford to, as far as time. We don't have enough time to do it, and we don't want to spend all that money where we don't even play them, be able to play all the games.
Exactly.
So what we do is we'll give you what we think will be our top 10 of 2022, mixed in with the games we did play that actually came out in 2022, the games we didn't play, but we thought it would be in our top 10 if were able to play them. Yeah. So that's why we call it half-ass.
And that's our favorite games, not necessarily the quote-unquote best games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, if you want to just not start discourse, but I'm okay with discourse. I'll say it's the best game, and if the game you thought was the best out here, you were wrong.
Okay.
And you should be shamed.
Man.
You should be shamed. I was joking, but no. Yes, it's our favorite games, or what we think will be our favorite games. So let's start with some honorable mentions. Do you have any?
I've got a couple.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a game that I got to play a very little bit of. That, depending on how I end up feeling about some of the games that end up being on my list that are not ones I played, could have very easily slotted in up there. It seemed very well done. A very cool game. I just didn't end up spending a lot of time with it in the way I necessarily would have wanted to. And then the other one we'll put on here, Dominic, because it feels like it has to be on a Game of the Year list and will probably not make either of our lists. Elden Ring, Dominic, best game of the year. Got to be an honorable mention.
But yeah, okay, I guess
seriously,
for you.
The reason I do mention this game is because all of the talk around this game sounds like it is not just another Dark Souls game. Like, it may very well be like an important moment in gaming history. And maybe that's just because of how close we are to that game. Maybe that game does not get looked back on as fondly as people are talking about it. But it is very much a game that I would like to eventually play and be able to make that decision for myself if I just consider it another Dark Souls-like that doesn't do anything for me, or if it is, in fact, something that could be an important game in my life. So
I just think everybody has bad taste.
I mean, it could very well be that. So what do you got for your honorable mentions?
All right, so my honorable mentions is Little Cities on the Oculus.
Okay.
That is similar to City Skylines, but it is so much more, it's a lot easier. The quality of life stuff is so much better than what Skylines have. The graphics are, they're pretty simple. I don't know who would have bad graphics. Maybe Skylines do, the Oculus version I'm talking about, but Little Cities, it's just so easy to get into, and it's fun, and I thought, like, I can get lost in this game. And the only reason I don't probably have it in my list is because I didn't play enough of it to know if that would have been my top 10. It probably would have been if I had played it a lot more, but I just figured I need to at least mention it because as far as those sim games, like for having the Oculus to be in that world, and I played both this one and Skylines, and this just felt better. And I think a lot of people said the same thing. It's like, man, this is so much easier than Skylines. Like, I was thinking like, oh man, Skylines coming out. So how's Little Cities going to do? Because Little Cities come out after Skylines, and it's actually better. It's better than that. I don't know who sold more, but Little Cities seems like it's. I mean, I played enough to know that it was better than Skylines, and that's the one I would be playing if I choose to play those city sims in Oculus. Like that's the way you got to do it. Like what they do, I think you can build from what little cities have done to get deeper. But I feel like that should be the base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks fantastic.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland. That's an honorable mention. Because it's not really much change there. Like graphically, it's somewhat better. I don't think it's that much better. But it's Borderlands. It's probably honestly like playing it, maybe the second best one, Borderlands. Because Borderlands 2 I feel like is the best overall. And then 3 it was kind of a letdown. And 1 was just the basis, but I think it's still better. 3 was still better than 1 because 1 was kind of a little bare, being compared to what these games are now.
Right.
And then you had the pre-sequel, which was different. Even though I still enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the pre-sequel more than 3. I think this is a little bit better because I think the dialogue is funny. It's a fun game, and but it's just that it is different. It is different than Borderlands, but not too different. And some of the stages look too similar, and then it's like there's not enough variety. I mean, I guess you have to get the DLC to see more, but just based on the main game, that's all we really talk about. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's enjoyable, but it's not what I thought it was. But it's an okay shooter. I felt like that should be honorably mentioned. Mm-hmm. Also, let's see. Is there any 2 Point Campus? I did like 2 Point Hospital, which is a strategy. This is a sim game too. A funny sim game where you control a university this time. It was like the hospital first time. Now you're doing a campus, basically a university and putting together. And I played some of it. I didn't play as much as 2 Point Hospital because these games get so time consuming, and I was playing other games. But it was fun. It seemed like it was a fun game, and they already got DLC for it now. That came up pretty fast, which I heard that's a lot better than the base game. Like people really like that more so than the base game. So I might have to check that out. But 2 Play Campus is pretty good. I felt like that should already be mentioned also. And I think is that it? I want to say, yeah. Oh, what's it called? What's the Dwarf game?
Dwarf Fortress.
Towers? Oh, Dwarf Fortress. Yes, that game. I put an honorable mention because it looked like a game that is very deep, but it looks like it's really fun. Now it's based off another game. I mean, it's its own game itself, but it was like an older version. It's DOS basically, and there's no mouse controls. Everything you have to type in and everything. So it's really like not. It's not fun to play. To me, it was not fun to play now. I mean, I just could not play that game that way. But now they upgraded it, added graphics, added mouse support, all the quality life stuff that we usually have in these kind of games, strategy games. But it's just like it's a random world builder also, and you are controlling these dwarves, and then they all have their individual lives. Like if you go click on one, you'll see what it does, like what's it's good at. Like you can't really control them, but you kind of fix the area around them, and what they choose to do within that section. Like maybe they choose to become a warrior or something. I think you control the warrior people outside more so than the people in the dungeons, tunnels, like what to dig, what to mine, what to gather. Sometimes people get married on their own. They meet each other, get married. Then they have little stories about themselves and stuff like that. It's very complex, but in a very fun way. And I didn't look at it because the graphics were so bare compared to traditional strategy games, even then those games aren't like really big graphically. So I was like, I'm not paying attention to this. But then I saw one guy had it for Game of the Year, but I saw top 10 lists, and I saw like some high scores for it. So I was like, let me see what this game really is about. And yeah, I was surprised. I was like, maybe if I did put my time into this, I probably would really love this game. So yeah, honorable mention for that.
Nice.
So yeah, that's it for my honorable mentions. So now we're going to get to our top 10. And what we do is that Daniel will go first, say his number 10 game, then I'll say my number 10 game. And then unless we got a game on our list the same, even if it's higher number, we'll just say it. Like somehow Daniel says my number 1 game at number 10, I would have to just say, well, that was my number 1 game. Let's say that was my number. So go ahead. Which, you know what? I'm trying to think, should we do it better this time and just tell our top 10 list so we know to skip it if it's higher up? And we just say, or it's okay to do it the way we always do it?
Yeah, I think it's fine that way.
Okay.
Or,
okay.
I mean, alternatively, you don't have to say what number yours is at. You can just say, I have it higher, and then we can talk about it when it gets to the higher spot, probably.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right. So you go first.
Yeah, my number 10 is Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is a game that I didn't get around to playing this year, but I feel like, based on what I've seen of it, I would have more fun with this than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's kind of this new reinvention, this kind of twist on the regular formula of Pokemon with the addition of more like a real open world as opposed to what you saw in Sword and Shield. Story-wise, I don't know or really care what's going on there. I know it takes place back in time or whatever, but really it's just about the way you're interacting with that world that kind of draws my attention. It's one of those games that I'll hopefully get around to maybe this year, but yeah, it's this year was kind of weird, or last year rather was kind of weird with what games came out. It feels like there wasn't like a huge dearth of large titles, but this is one of those that I feel like I did miss out by not playing last year.
Okay. All right. So my number 10 is Horizon Forbidden West, which I just changed while I was just looking at the list. Yeah, I put this at number 10, and for a reason that I feel like I would have liked this game if I played it, but I just don't know how much I would have liked it. I don't know if this would have been like, oh, it's good, but it's not as good as the first one, but it's all right. Or maybe I would have said, man, it's better than the first one. I don't know why people were not sold on it. Yeah. Kind of like how I was with Horizon over Zelda. I thought that was a better game than Zelda, and everybody was stupid who thought the otherwise. But yeah, Horizon Forbidden West, because I liked the first one. I didn't play this one last year, but I felt like, I would have liked it. I think I would liked it. Now, I don't know if they have the climbing everywhere, like what games are today. I think it might be still the same, and I'll be disappointed in that because I felt like, oh yeah, you gotta make it so that it'd be like I can climb these rocks or something. And it gotta be exactly like Zelda, like where you just grab on and just go up. But just because sometimes it just looked like in the first game, I was like, I feel like I just easily climb up here, but I can't. And I was like,
there's stuff like, I can climb in the real world, and I'm not a professional climber like Aloy is, and I could get over that. Or like hopping off a ledge, it felt like what are we doing here?
Yeah. So I don't know if they fixed that, honestly. I haven't looked deeply into the game in that sense, but I guess I'll find out. But yeah, so there you go. So what you got for your number 9?
All right, number 9 is Neon White. This game is another one that I did not get a chance to play last year. I was kind of always just holding out for it to appear on Game Pass because it very much feels like a game that would end up on Game Pass sooner rather than later. Basically kind of a puzzle platformer, but with this kind of like high-speed action to it where your guns are also augments for your abilities to transverse. I think that stuff's really cool. The stuff I've heard about the story is kind of, in some ways, cringy. I don't know if that's what they're going for or not. But it also seems like if you don't take it too seriously, it could just be something to kind of laugh at. But really the focus there is on the gameplay, and visually it looks cool too.
Yeah, maybe I should have had this in the honorable mentions, but because I did play it, I just didn't know what I played. I don't know if I would have had it in my top 10. Maybe if I played it all the way through, I would have. I thought it was, the concept, the concept of it and the gameplay playing it, man, it felt real good. But yeah, I wasn't really the story. It was there, but I was waiting for it to grab me. Like that's what I was waiting for. That's why I was playing it actually more than I probably would have, because I was like, maybe the story would get somewhere where I would just keep wanting to play and stop the game. Whatever game I was playing, I was going to stop and play this for a bit. But it didn't get to that point, so that's why I had stopped early on it. But yeah, I mean, I think it should have been in my arm. I mean, you could put that in my honorable basically. Neon White.
Gotcha.
All right, so my number 9 game is Sifu, which is funny. I am changing my order as I'm going up on this list.
On the fly.
This is not where... Now, the only reason, because my next game is going to be what I switched it with, but Sifu, I put it at number 9, just under that game only because I played the other game more. So, I actually played Sifu. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I like the concept of you getting old when you die, even though I died like maybe 5 times and I cheated the rest of the way. So I never got super old. But the combat felt good. It felt like Dark Knight. And it felt a little, well, probably a little more fluider than Dark Knight. I wouldn't say better, but it felt really good. And I just like the whole look of it, like it's in like an old Chinese like kung fu film or something. And yeah, the story, I mean, it's a traditional story of revenge, which it's fine. Like for this type of game, it's fine. I like the bosses I played, and just like the dodging, all the moves you can do. It's a fun game, which now I'm thinking about. I was like, why didn't I finish this game? But what did I stop doing with this game? You know what? I think I know why. It's because I want to use mods. And I couldn't get them to work. And I was mad. I was going
to say, were the cheats broken?
No, it wasn't the cheats. No, it wasn't with the cheats. But I think I was trying to do, because they had some great mods with this, man. Like I see Spider-Man. Then you can make the villains look like Spider-Man's enemies. So you got, it's just, I can't even think of them now. I know I was doing the Spider-Man one. I know I wanted to do like a Batman one. I forgot the other characters there were. But yeah, this game, I definitely recommend it. It is fun. I'm surprised it never came on Game Pass. It never came on Game Pass, did it? I don't think it did.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think maybe that's what I was waiting for too. Just like, hey, America, get some achievements.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's come out on Xbox yet. Because I think originally that was, okay, it is showing on Xbox now. But I think that originally came out as just a PlayStation exclusive, eventually came to the Switch. Well, PlayStation and Epic Store. And then came to the Switch. Sifu is currently labeled as not available separately on the Xbox Store, which I don't know what that means.
What is it bundled with?
I guess. But yeah, that's weird. But yeah, definitely not on Game Pass yet, unfortunately. Oh, that's coming to Xbox and Steam in March 2023. I remember. We talked about that now because it's also adding that Arenas mode.
Oh, yeah. So, you know what? I might make for that because it's play the Arenas mode. All right. So, we're moving on to our number 8. So, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
I forgot about that damn game.
It really feels like kind of the world forgot about that game. It released what feels like kind of late for Game of the Year awards, but also it just wasn't really getting talked about a lot. I enjoyed that first Mario plus Rabbids game quite a bit. This one diverts from that a bit with the kind of more open transversal, but I have faith that it's still probably quite a good game. So yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it, but it looks cool, and I would like to play that at some point.
My number 8 is Fire Emblem's Warriors 3 Hopes. This is I enjoyed the first Fire Emblem Warriors game, which came on Switch early in Switch life. And this one is based off the well, not the most recent Fire Emblems, but the one before that, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. So it feels like it's essentially a Fire Emblem game, just like the 3 Houses. It looks like if somebody told me this is 3 Houses, I would believe them until they actually get into battle. Then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, now this is it's like this is not strategy.
Yeah.
But other than that, it seemed like everything else is like Three Houses, and I like that because it feels like an RPG. And then, like, basically, when you're about to go to war, which is just like any other Fire Emblem game, you go into battle. Just like this time, you are actually like a third person, and you're actually fighting because it's just like the Dynasty Warriors games. And I like the strategy of like telling your men where to go, like the other guys, and you can switch to them. Like they say, "Oh, somebody's in trouble," and then I say, "I got to switch to them." Or if when the NPCs are in trouble, you can switch to the closest one and go help them. And yeah, and graphically is all right. I mean, really, it's just a Switch's machine. It's hardware that's the problem with it. Like where it does get slowed down at times where I think it shouldn't at all. Even on the screen. Actually, it's not. It's probably not even the Switch's hardware that's the problem. It's just they didn't optimize it. The guys didn't optimize it enough so it can run smoothly on the Switch. Because I feel like it's not. It really shouldn't be that powerful.
Yeah.
But thing is, this game is huge. Like, I still haven't finished just like the main story of the house I chose. Like, I still 2 other houses I gotta choose. And then you also you choose if you want to kill some of your, like the people you captured. You either kill them or you can capture them and say, "Hey, join my cause" or something like that on some people. So there's a lot to this game. I think some things are a little too much. I feel like because I have to level up or refight a lot of fights just to get not even leveling up. It's to get materials, and their materials is like you get limited amount. And I'm like, well, I need some more of this, and I don't want to go too far. If I go too far ahead in the story, what's the point of me even like wanting to do this quest? I want to like complete this specific like armor, like I'm trying to get the specific armor or something.
Right.
So I have to go back and fight so I can get that. And yeah, I feel like it should be something. It got to be something more there where I don't have to keep repeating fights just to get items. So this is why I want cheats, because I don't want to spend too much time with this game where I get bored. See, I stopped for a while because I got to a point where, oh man, I'm going to take a break because I want to level this armor up, but I can't. I don't have enough materials. And if I had cheats, I can just level up real quick, move on to the next thing. Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't have nothing like that. But yeah, Fire Emblem, that it's just I don't know, between this and Hyrule Calamity, Hyrule Warriors Calamity, I don't know which one would be better. They're both great. Like they're both well done, and they fit with the spirit of what their original games were. And yeah, I couldn't tell you which one I like better between those two. Really, I probably more lean more towards Fire Emblem Warriors just because of I like the night stuff a little bit more than what kind of Zelda's got going on. But that's really just a taste thing. And gameplay wise, I think they're both just the same, and they're both done well.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my number 8. So I guess we're going to number 7. So what's your number 7?
All right, my number 7 is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So this is Kirby's...
Really?
Yeah. This is Kirby's first foray into like a full 3D world. It's still not quite as free as like a Mario 3D that we expect nowadays. The camera's still kind of locked. But from playing that demo, it seems like a lot of fun, especially when you get into the like mouthful mode stuff where you swallow a full car and the gameplay switches up a little bit. My only problem with Kirby games really ever has been just kind of how easy they tend to be. That's actually in a lot of ways good, especially for the platforming aspect of it when you can just kind of suck in air and float over any holes and stuff. But as of late, that's kind of been the game that my daughter is also most attracted to. So eventually I would like to, as she develops more ability to actually play video games, kind of pick that up and be able to play some of the multiplayer mode with her to allow her to be introduced into the video game world a little bit more.
All right. So yeah, that's cool. I don't know. You always got to stick your daughter in there. Or whatever. So whatever. It's just, all right. So where we at? Number 7. So my number 7 is because I messed things up here. Return to Monkey Island.
All right.
So I never touched this game, but I kept saying I couldn't wait for it. I mean, really, it was announced and it was released pretty fast from when it was announced. So it wasn't like it was a long time coming. So I just wasn't ready to jump in yet. I was still playing probably either Trails or Persona. I probably started Persona, I think, when it came out, maybe. Darn, I playing these games. These games take a long time to play. All right, but yeah, Monkey Island, I was a big fan of it. Starting very late, though. It started with number 4, because that was on PS2, and I borrowed it. Now, in actuality, I'm really into Monkey Island because I played LucasArts games back in when I was very young, starting with Day of the Tentacle. And that's why I started like point and click games. But Monkey Island was old and it looked old. So I was like, I don't want to play that. When like Day of the Tentacle looked more like a cartoon. I was like, nah, like Sam and Max and them, they're like more cartoons. Like Monkey Island looks very old Dawsey. So I played 4. 4 was like, it looked new. It was in 3D. It was the first one in 3D. And I played that one. It was funny, even though they did a lot of touchback in the previous games. But that didn't stop the game from being funny. That's the thing. That's how good it was. So me going back to play 1 when I did a remaster, I was... I see like, oh, now I can get some of the jokes. Like why they talked about this in 4. And then play the 2 remastered. I watched 3 because that's not really widely available. You can download it now. I think on GOG and I think maybe on Steam. I don't know. I know it's definitely on GOG. But yeah, for a long time. Well, and they didn't do a remaster of that one because that is definitely a cartoon. Like that's like they really hand drawn. So I don't know if they wanted how you would remaster that. I guess you could just touch it up a bit. I don't know. Yeah. But maybe one day I will play that version. But I played the new one with the Telltale one they had. I thought that was good. That was well done by Telltale. And now they got this one, and Return to Monkey Island. And I heard it was decent. I saw the scores was decent. One day, hopefully I'll get to play it. But I feel like this definitely would have been on my top 10 list. So I'll put it at, what number we on, Daniel?
Number 7.
Number 7. Yeah. So maybe it would have been higher. I don't know. But I had it been on the list, so I put it a little lower. So I feel like the next game I was going to say, I will like better than this one. So what's your next game?
I had that on my honorable mentions list originally. That game looks very good. My number 6 is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Marvel Midnight Suns looks very cool. Mixture of a Firaxis XCOM style game with, Marvel trappings. Some of the aesthetics of that game, at least how they originally showed it, were kind of off-putting, but it sounds like those costumes that you kind of see in all the advertisements aren't even things that you get until later. Some of the stuff I heard talked about for this game as far as like outside the combat stuff where they evolve like your relationships more between characters, I feel like could be interesting as well. So as a package, it just seems like it has kind of a nice mixture of different things. It's one of those games that, again, didn't get around to actually playing this year, but seems like a really cool experience and kind of captures a lot of my interests. So that's my number 6.
I just didn't look at it enough to know if I would like it or not, honestly. I didn't really delve into it. I didn't know, like, would I be interested in playing it? Maybe I would. I kind of just kept away from it. Because I think I'd really had, because I knew I wasn't going to buy it because I was like, I got all these other games.
Yeah.
And I saw the reviews. I mean, they were decent. I mean, there were good reviews for it, but it just wasn't enough for me. It didn't pique my interest. Like, maybe one day, if it's cheap, either I might check it out or hopefully it comes to Game Pass. But
it's kind of crazy how large Marvel is in kind of all forms of pop culture, but none of the games have really hit in the same way that any of the movies have. Like even Marvel's Avengers, which has now come and gone, basically. You know, I feel like that was the largest release they've had, and that didn't even really get that much talk outside of people just kind of complaining about it.
Yeah, I think maybe because those people don't really play those kind of games. Maybe they like the movies and they all into that stuff, but they just want to play Fortnite.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because like a lot of the games journalist people who like podcasts and stuff that I listen to are always actually pretty dismissive of like the Marvel movies and stuff. So yeah, maybe the audience for the Marvel movies are just not the same people who are even playing video games for that matter.
Yeah, because even the people who do play video games and they watch the Marvel movies, they know enough about the game probably to like the point where it's not that good. Only right. Spider-Man is a good one, and that's actually a good game. It sold a lot, but it's a good game. Yeah, but the other ones like shutting down shit. So all right, so where we at? Number 6.
Yep,
Number six is As Dusk Falls.
Okay.
That was the basic. What's it called? The novel, visual novel, virtual novel, or visual novel, virtual novel. Yeah. It came out. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It came out early last year. I played a lot of it. I don't know how far I'm in it. I didn't realize how big the game was because I felt like I played a lot, and I don't know if I'm close to the end or not because it seemed like it's still a lot to go on the story, but it's pretty damn good. It's a good story. Like the choices, like it reminds me of the Telltale games or what's it called, Heavy Rain, those games.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like it's more branches than those games, and it feels like I can play this game for a long time because of just the many choices you make doing this, and it'd be some pressure choices, and because it'd be a timer and stuff on them, so you gotta like. Hurry up and choose, just like some of the Telltale games. But like some of this stuff just seemed so tense and everything. Like that robbery, man, I didn't know like what to do. Sometimes I felt like I'm just gonna stick on this one way, like so I'm just gonna stick with save my family. But then I started having feelings for the robbers. I started feeling bad. It's like because you play as them, you're not playing as one of them. Like they switch you, so you don't stay as just one. You don't stick with one person. Like it is closer probably to Heavy Rain, but it's done better. Like you switch between protagonists in the game to the point where you know why things are happening, and it's like, oh man, do I want the character to do something about this? Like get this guy hurt or get the other guy's family hurt, or like it's like you want to choose like more so protect in situations. It's done very well. Like it's a good, like overall, like the story, it's a simple drama that you probably can see on television. Like probably like those what they used to be back in the day, those afternoon movies and stuff like that. They used to come on, but playing through it and actually choosing what to do and stuff, it makes it totally different. It makes it actually pretty. I mean, it's a decent story for a video game, and like. Going through that is pretty cool. It's not the gameplay is usually like the buttons you have to press. Like you trying to open a lock, you gotta hurry up and you like move the stick up. So like Heavyweight is, but not done in their way where it was like you felt like you gotta press like 7 buttons at the same time. And sometimes it was just so wrong. But yeah, it's Dusk Falls that I really enjoy that because I'm mostly into the story based games. So yeah, that's definitely in my top 10. Yeah, and at my number 6.
Nice.
So I guess we're getting the top 5 now.
Yeah.
So what you got for number 5?
All right, number 5 for me is Tunic. Tunic is a game I was very excited to leading up to its release. I mean, it was a very long kind of development cycle there. And when it came out, I did have some problems with it, but thankfully they have accessibility features in there like invincibility that allowed me to get deeper into that game and explore some of the more kind of intricate concepts that they have there. It's not just kind of a Zelda-like as it appears to be on its surface, and it has a lot more kind of concepts that it's delving into there, and I think that stuff is really neat. It's a game that I didn't get around to finishing, but I very much would like to get back to that game at a certain point. It's one of those things that it feels like if I were just playing it on a different console, if I had gotten it on the Switch or something, I probably would have finished it. But instead I chose to go the free route via Game Pass, and haven't gotten around to finishing it. But it's an awesome game, beautiful game, and definitely looking forward to playing more of it.
All right. Wait a minute, you didn't finish it?
No, I didn't finish it.
Oh, darn, I thought you finished it for some reason. All right, so my number 5 game is Pentiment, which I just heard this game 2 days ago.
It's not true.
Well, Dave, I'll put it like this. You might have mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I think that it's just something that just went one ear and out the other. Okay. I didn't pay attention to the damn word. I think you even said that you might like this game, and I probably said, "Yeah, okay." I said, "I probably just was."
Thanks, Dominic.
I didn't know what the hell the game looked like because I looked at it now. No, actually, I think I see just one picture of it. I was like, "Oh, okay," and then I didn't care. But no, actually, looking at reviews and watching some gameplay of it, yeah, I think I would have liked this game because I played it, and I put it at number 5. It's done by Obsidian.
Yeah.
And so I guess I can get on Xbox Game Pass to play it.
Mm-hmm. And
it's like takes place in 16th century Bavaria or something like that. That's what I see here. And it's done in an illustrated way of like how things were drawn then. And that's how the graphics look. So it looks really cool, like you moving your character and stuff. But you're some like type of artist, and you are solving these murders that happen. It seems like it's like a detective type of thing going on here, where you have to talk to characters and stuff to find out who killed someone. But I think you only have a limited time to do it, so you're not going to get all the evidence. And who you choose is the criminal. I don't know if from what I've heard is that you don't really get a sense of like who actually did it. Like, you won't get to know, like, oh, say this person did it. It won't be like, oh, you're wrong. It'll just that person did it. And
then you find out later that you killed an innocent person, probably.
But I don't know. See, that's the thing. The way that guy talks is like you don't know. You won't. You won't definitely know if they did it or not. Yeah,
it's just gonna weigh on your conscience forever, Dominic.
But what you choose, it affects the world as because time moves forward. And other things happen in the future. Yeah, your decisions will change how the community goes, and then it says your choices play out over generations. So I think it goes to be. I don't know if you become the same person or you're like a descendant of the person or something. As you go down, but like as you go further in the game. Because I never got to. Cause it looked like you was playing the same guy, so I didn't never understood that, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just like an RPG-ish type of game, like Obsidian does. But Obsidian's really big on narrative, and that's what this is. But it's not very convoluted or too. They said like Path of Exiles was. I never played that, so if you know what that game is, then it's not as bad as that one as far as like being too wordy. But it looks very neat. And because I'm really big on story-based games. This looks like something that'll be up my alley. And definitely because I do like also solid mysteries, like I like Ace Attorney stuff and what other games I played. Oh, well, a game I'm about to say, some of the Nornery game stuff and things like that, where you're doing the puzzles and you're also trying to figure out what's going on. I like that. I like suspense and mystery and a nice narrative to go with the gameplay of it. And yeah, just right up my alley. So yeah, I'm definitely going to probably be checking this game out when I get a chance.
Nice.
And so now we're moving on to number 4. So what's your number 4 game?
All right, my number 4 is High on Life.
Holy shit! I forgot about that game.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Would it make the list, Dominic?
I don't know.
All right, we'll call that one an honorable mention. All right, so High on Life, first-person shooter featuring the voices of several comedians, including JB Smoove and also Justin Roiland. I think that game did a fantastic job with the concept that it went in with. I really thought coming into this game it was going to kind of be overbearing with your guns talking to you and kind of being a nuisance, and that ended up not being the case. And the actual first-person shooting, I thought, was far better than I also expected it to be. It's not a just competent first-person shooter. I think it's an actively good first-person shooter. And the mechanics that it started to add as I stopped playing it, something I need to get back to. But like adding the jetpack and stuff like that, increasing my mobility while being able to fire on these guys, I think will add a nice little wrinkle to it. The story overall is whatever, but I think the comedy sensibilities of the game in general do a good job of making me not too worried about where the actual like overall story is or is going.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun when I played the game. I wasn't as far as you though. So yeah, man, that's probably why I don't remember it. Because I didn't play as much of it, and darn, I'm thinking this probably would have placed Horizon Forbidden West. I'm not saying it would be number 10, but Horizon would have been probably kicked off if I played more of this game. Darn. So yeah, I guess this would be my honorable mention because I'm not going to edit this shit to try to put that in there. I'm not going to do that. So that's why it's a half-ass game list. So there you go. But it would have been number one. It would have been number one for me, so that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Now, my number 4 is AI: The Summoning Files, the Nirvana Initiative.
Okay.
And this is the sequel to AI: Summoning Files, which came out in 2021, I want to say, or 2020. It was fairly recent. I didn't even hear about this game until the Nirvana Initiative did come out. So I had played the first one first. And that was still on Game Pass, and then it was about to leave, so I had to hurry up and beat it, and I did, and it was real good. This is by the guys, I mean, with the same studios who done the Nonary games, 999, and the Virtue's Last Stand,
Virtue's Last Reward,
yes, and then you got the Danganronpa stuff games, so. It's almost similar to that, but it's like the graphics are better than those games. The dialogue is also all spoken. I think the other games were all spoken to. Yeah, never mind. Why am I saying that? They're all all spoken.
Because it's rare for those types of games, so like you gotta give it credit for that.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, good for them that they have spoken in English because they had to translate it. Nice. So and it's done very well. Yeah, it's funny. I like the little girl. Well, actually, it goes to type of time travel. So you see when she's like 18. So kind of playing as her when she's older. In this version, because you're playing the girl she was a little girl in the first game, but now she's older, and you're trying to find out these murders. And the twist, like the story is so twisted. Like it's not everything's not what you seen when you start out. It is definitely not what you seen. And then when you get to a point where the story twists, I'm like, oh my God. So this makes all the sense now. Now I'm a little upset because in the first one, it's like you could kind of figure it out, what was going on. Even though I didn't, but I could see like, okay, I understand. This felt like it cheated me. It's like, there's no way where I could have figured that out. I mean, I like the twist though. I do like it, but it was like, I couldn't figure this out. What was going on? But I do, at the end of the day, like after I spent some time away from it, I was like, you know what, that was still a good twist though. And like the investigations, like, cause like I was big on Phoenix Wright games. So investigating and looking up the, looking for the clues and evidence and stuff like that. Talking with people, getting funny dialogue or some serious dialogue too. Was always fun. I like the different branches you go through, like seeing something done in a similar way, but in a different like branch, like so different time. So you're like, oh, this say okay, so so you're playing another branch and you're like, oh, I know the answer to this or something like that, and so I can go in here and then something different happens. It is done. Yeah, it's probably the best version of those games, like Danganronpa and other Nonary games. Now, like they got some of the files. And I'm trying to remember everything. Now the branches, I think with this one, it wasn't as much as the first one. I do like the first one better than Nirvana Initiative, but Nirvana Initiative's narrative, it's just as good. Like, it's just as good. But like, if I was picking the best between the two, I'll pick the first one better. But I just become a big fan of all these games now that these people have done, and because it's like they've all been good. Now I will say Danganronpa. The first one was good. Second one wasn't that great. So I don't know how Danganronpa 3 is, but from what I've seen, it wasn't as good as those two. Maybe it was better than 2. I have no idea. But I might check. I'm gonna check it out just to see for myself. But yeah, this was a surprise. Like, this was a surprise game. I didn't think I would like this. Like, years ago, I would not have even looked at these games and would not even give them a chance. Probably, I would say, "Oh, this is some Japanese anime shit. I don't give a damn about these stupid ass games. It's dumb." But no, they do really good well with storytelling in these. I wish Final Fantasy could do that. No, I wish those games could do that.
Yeah, hire some of that talent.
Yeah, because like them, Yakuza, well, even like Trails has its problems though, but it's better storytelling than Final Fantasy. I'll tell you that. Though some of those Square games, man, they be getting like out there, like graphically and stuff, and probably gameplay wise, they'd be better in these games, but story wise, hell no. All right, so yeah, that was my number. What number I had that on? 4. Yes, yep. Number 4. So my number 3 is TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
All right.
So I just like the nostalgia of it. Like, this feels like an old Ninja Turtles arcade game, but it's totally new. I appreciate that they let you play with how many people at the same time? Was it 6 or 8? I forget. It's quite a few, and I'm totally surprised that they actually have online co-op. I'm sorry, because too many games today do not do online co-op for their beat 'em ups. Only Streets of Rage and this have done it of note that's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, Battletoads is not good. And actually, you know what? Battletoads is not online. My fault. I think the time I did play with somebody, I was over their house. Never mind. Forget that. Yeah, awful. That's why the game's even worse. So, the game's done well. I can't remember everything in this game because I haven't played it in so long now. But visually, it looks well done. It looks like it could be like on the arcades back in the day, but it looks better than that. But it gives you the feel of like this is what it looked like when you were a kid playing those games. And the enemies they have, like, it just really gives you back from the cartoon, takes you back to the cartoon days. And the different power ups that the each turtle has. Each guy has. All the turtles. You got April O'Neil. You got Casey Jones. You can play as Master Splinter.
Yeah.
I don't know why he needs that cane anymore if he can just jump around and stuff. But anyway, I mean,
it's about the illusion.
Like I said, Yoda. He's like Yoda.
Exactly.
Like but nah, like beat 'em ups is like not far in between, and the ones we do have, you gotta be local co-op, and I get it. Look, I like local co-op is fun to do, but as an adult, I can't do that, and I think it's because of they don't want to have to like be running a server or something. But I don't want to do the P2P stuff again. Yeah. I don't want to do like you share it, like hey, whoever has the best connection, you host a game. You host a game for people. I don't know why they won't just have some implementation. I'm saying that wrong. Implementation of that in there. Yeah. I just wonder, like, can Microsoft or PlayStation have something where people can use them to connect online or something like that?
Yeah, because Steam has that built in now where basically you can trick local co-op games into thinking that they're online multiplayer games. So you would think that Microsoft or Sony could implement that in some way on their back end to do a similar thing.
Oh, I also want to talk about the controls. The controls are dead on. Like, I never had any problems playing. Like in what's the game called? The Scott Pilgrim. Like it was a little, it's kind of loose.
Yeah,
it was so easy to fall off. Like on the edge. But it doesn't feel like that in this game. Like it is, definitely responsive. Yeah, and the game is great. I mean, the game is great. I give it to him.
Seems awesome.
I think it's so wrong that you got on your goddamn honorable mentions and you got fucking Tunic up there, and it's like no, in the Mario game, this is bullshit. But and Kirby, man, this is bullshit. You got those 3 games up there, and don't got TMT. All right, so what you got? We're going number 2.
So let's talk God of War Ragnarok, Dominic. You're number 2.
Right. Well, no, you go first.
All right. So God of War Ragnarok, it's a weird thing because it came out. I was very excited for it to come out. Bought it instantly, started playing it instantly, but I just haven't had that same drive that I had for the first one to go through it, despite the fact that I very much want to see what that story is. And I don't know if it's because I wasn't as worried about spoilers, because it didn't seem like those spoilers were really going around in the way that I thought they might, or maybe they aren't what I thought they might end up being. But I haven't been as driven to get through it to like avoid hearing something that, might ruin it for me. The gameplay is as solid as ever. The graphics are beautiful, but there's just a layer of it where, it's not quite what that first game was. And I think a lot of that is just because it's not as new and different as that was from the rest of the series. But everything else about it is still top tier, and I really want to play it. It's just something that's not like it's not becoming the priority for me. It's not driving me to turn it on,
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. That was the problem. Like, there was a point where I really wanted to play it, and that was probably right after I finished the first one, and and maybe like a year. If this game would have came out a year or even 2 years after that one, I think I would have been right on it. I just think as time goes on, I'm also getting older. Things are just you got to grab me or something. And I started playing this. I thought it was going to be like, because even when you said you got it, I wasn't excited as I thought I would be. I was surprised too. It's like, darn, I'm not excited like that to hurry up and download this. But when I download, I said, maybe I got to start playing and it will get me. And it's funny how I'm talking like this, and this game is my number 2. But anyway, but
I think it's just like when we started playing it and we're talking about it, we're kind of picking on the other things because it's such a good game that it's just kind of a given, right? So you focus on the nitpickier stuff.
Yeah, as plain as, because it seems so similar to the first one, which was great, that I was like, okay, I mean, this is good. I mean, this is fun. I was like, man, but I'm just not in the mood to like really delve into this right now. Like I forgot what I was playing. I don't think I started Persona yet, did I? I'm not sure. Maybe I was playing Gotham Knights, which that's even horrible. That's even worse that I'm playing. I said I gotta finish this game. But this year I'm gonna one day force myself just to play through it. Because I do want to see it, and I'm lucky that I haven't seen spoilers either. I didn't even think about that though, too. Honestly, I didn't even think about like, oh man, I could be spoiled on that. Now I'm scared I'm gonna get spoiled, and I am gonna get spoiled. Something's gonna just pop up now because you just reminded me. But yeah, because my mind's gonna be looking for it. Mind's gonna be looking for it now. But the game, yes. I mean, because it seems like it's the same as the last one. And other people have given high praise that I know, like, well, same as last one. I didn't really hear anything that was like better, honestly. That's the thing. I didn't really hear like, oh, they got this new mechanic here that's so much better than the last game. I didn't see that. And I think that's why I wasn't on high so much of playing it. It just, it's just the time. It was really just timing. It's not its fault. I mean, I got it at number 2 because I feel like it's still a great game. But it's just the timing of it was not at a time where I was ready to play it. Like if this would have came out before, like maybe a year before or maybe 2 years before, initially came out, I think I would have stopped the game I was playing probably most likely and then just jumped right into it. It just didn't get that. Yeah, I just didn't get that. No, I was playing Spider-Man. I was playing Spider-Man Remastered. That's what it was.
Sony's getting you from both ends.
And that's the thing. I was not sure the reason I didn't put Spider-Man Remastered on this list is because it's the same game. It's just done on a PC. So if this is like a PC top 10, then yes, I would have put that up there because that's when it came on PC. It was last year. But that's the only reason I put it up there. But that it definitely would have been up there anywhere if this was like the first time it was ever released. So what is your number one? We're doing number ones, people. Hold on. Like I say, we gotta wait. Let's pause for the nice music that we're gonna have here. Okay, I'm just joking. I might not even put the music right there. What's your number one, Daniel?
All right, so my number one is Tinykin. This is a game that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't really have many expectations for, but then once I got to actually playing it, I just didn't want to stop playing it. This is the game that drew me in this year the most, and I just basically, in a couple of sessions, went from beginning to end and collected as much of the pollen as I could. It really grabbed me. It's funny because, at the time you kind of made fun of me for never really having played a Pikmin game when this is very much like a Pikmin style game. But I think it really takes that aspect and then adds the platforming stuff that really is what draws me in from a gameplay perspective. The movement in the game feels crisp. You can move very quickly through the levels because they can be very big for your very tiny little person. And just the collectathon nature of the stuff like the pollen, it very much just kept drawing me in. Now, they did go a little overboard with that stuff. It's definitely not a thing that I felt like I needed to make sure I collected every piece because I tried and I would look around those worlds and just never find whatever little pieces were left, I guess. And it doesn't necessarily preclude itself to being having a guide work out for it when you have hundreds of little collectibles. But I think that was part of kind of like the addictive nature of bringing me back to it, because there were so many of those little things that you just turn the camera around a little bit and you see some stuff off in the distance that brings you over there. And then next thing you know, you're looking around again and you see a little more, and it just keeps getting you to play a little more and a little more and a little more. So yeah, without a doubt, that game came out of nowhere for me, was on Game Pass, which is, a huge win, that I don't have to pay additional money to give a game a chance. This is the perfect game for that platform, where it's something that may look cool, but you might not give it a chance because it costs a certain amount or what have you. There's some layer of barrier there that, it's either that or a demo, which most people don't do anymore. So giving me the chance to play it and then having it just click with me the way it did, I'm very grateful for how awesome that game is.
Yeah, I mean that's what I love about Game Pass, because it's a lot of these games I would not have touched if it wasn't on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, even like the AI ones, right? That was on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, I would never have touched those games. Never.
And instead, I got you to play
like
a whole
if somebody would have had,
games.
if somebody said like this is a great game, I say, man, it's like, hey, they say you're into that anime shit, man. I say, whatever. And including this game. Like, I would never have touched it. It was on Game Pass, even though it was like 50 cents. I don't know how much it cost. It's something real cheap. Vampire Survivor.
Yes.
My number one game of the year. This game. What? Now I forgot why I even tried this game. I don't know, where did I see? I think I was looking up. I think I was looking at some article or something, and somebody just mentioned. Actually, no, I think it was on Twitter, and because somebody was talking about like they think something's a game of the year, and then just a random tweet, some guy was like responding to this tweet, he's like, "Man, I don't know how this is not better." To say, I don't know about that. Like, it seemed like none is better than Vampire Survivor. I was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And then so I looked it up, and I saw like, "Oh, that's that game I saw that was like in beta or something, or like early access or something like that." And on Xbox, and I was like, and I looked at it, it looked all like an old Castlevania thing, and I was like, "What?" And I said, "Is this like Castlevania?" But then I saw like, "Oh, it's a roguelite thing," and it's like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this." But then I looked up the gameplay of it. I was like, "Darn, man, people give it good." I looked at the reviews. I was like, "Damn, it gets good reviews. Let me just try it since it's on Game Pass." I just tried, and it seemed all right. Now I wasn't hooked yet, still, but I was like, "Oh, okay." It's like this auto attack thing, and you level up and you get some new abilities. They auto attack. You just gotta move your character around. And I didn't know there was anything deeper to it, so I was like, cause I always died when those skeletons start coming. I was like, oh, maybe I was close to the end, and now I just got to figure out how to get past that. I don't know. So that's why I just told you about it. Then you didn't play it till like, I don't know, a month later when I mentioned it or so. And then you start saying like how you really got hooked onto it and how you got to another stage or something in this, like, there's other stages and stuff. And I was like, oh, there are. I said, I don't know. So I tried again. That's still got against the skeletons. Kept getting killed by those skeletons. And I was like, I said, I don't know. I said, I was like, I'm having fun though. Up to that point, I am having fun. I was like, yeah, I'm just killing everything. And then those skeletons come. I was like, oh fuck. I said, what am I supposed to do? And then you mentioned, I forgot what you said. And then when I played,
because I didn't remember. The weapons discussion we were having.
Yeah, you were saying what weapons to use. So I said, okay, I'll use that book. Still kept dying. And so I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So I just kept trying. I was like, you know what? Because I'm still having fun. I'm not frustrated. Like, I'm mad at the moment. Like, damn it. And I hit play again. But
if you're anything like me, it's just like, oh, I gotta get right back into it.
Yes. But then I figure out how to move with the weapon. Like, then I'll start taking it seriously. I was like, let me get my serious pants on. Then I start just like focusing like how the weapons were, like when the weapon would move, like attack, how the book moves, and then how different like weapons will react and how they reacted. Like I figured out like, oh, the stopwatch, I don't get hurt if I get near the enemies, if they're stopped. So I leveled it up to a point where I can go through a whole bunch of enemies and just hurry up and move. And then I know like a level up, it stays longer. They stop for a longer period of time. Or when you get that ability, we say, hey, your abilities last for this many minutes or something like that. Right. Or seconds. And then I saw like when you level, because I would try to keep getting new weapons instead of just leveling the ones I use the most. So I start focusing on like what I want. Now sometimes you don't get what you want. So then I just figure out what's the best of the things I have. And I just level them up as much as I can when I have a chance to a point that they do a lot of damage or they cause a point where I can move. So then when I got to this, when the horde of skeletons come in, I can just kind of move through them like somewhat, like they're either dying or they stop for some reason, or I'm invincible for a period of time where I got to the point, or even if I got hurt, I got to a point where I can get out of there and still survive. And then that's when I really started learning how to play. So, okay, now I get this. So I got to the other stage. I started getting to different stages. Then I start seeing that, oh, there's a big list here, because I didn't even bother looking at the other menus of like, you can unlock this thing if you do certain quests, like, activities during the game. Like, oh, if you level up this ability to this point, you'll unlock this other weapon or this other ability or something like that. And it gets a whole lot deeper than that. That's where you realize how deep the game is, and it's just so much fun. And like 30 minutes is the limit on the stages until the death comes and gets you. And I was thinking, when you said like 30 minutes, I was like, damn, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be playing that long. I know 30 minutes is it's like that's a TV show. I say I don't think I'm going. I have it out TV show. I don't think I'll play that long. But man, dude, I was playing for a while, man, because I realized I was sitting in my chair for a long time, playing. I started to look at the clock and said, "Holy shit!" I mean, I said I need to get up and do something because I am. So I was like, "Oh no, this time has really flown by." I mean, playing this game, like it just got me hooked. It's surprising this simple. It seems like it's such a simple concept, and I mean, you know what? We get those games, simple concept, but they become so addictive. I mean, you got games like Angry Birds, Flappy Birds. There's other ones. I guess like Candy Crush or something like that. I mean, Bejeweled and things of that nature. I mean, like, just things are like, hey, they're nice and simple, but they keep you going. Like you want to just keep playing them. So yeah, and this game, this is done very well. Like it was, the guys who ever did this, they worked on this. This is like, man, this was a good game. This is totally surprised. I did not realize I was going to like this game. I just thought something like, it's like one of those niche games that nerd gamers like, and it was like something I would never like. I was like, oh yeah, I guess, I mean, I'll just take your word for it. It's just not for me. But nah, this game is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Absolutely.
Oh, you got anything to say? Because that was your number 3, right? Or number 2?
That was my number 2. Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much covered it. You know, a lot of it was just like the mystery of figuring out like there's more to this game than just doing that stuff. And even like the conversations that you and I had about it, like that was a cool aspect of it where it's like, wait, if I use this and then I get, oh, okay. Cause like I never used the stopwatch really. Cause it was one of the weapons. It's like, it doesn't do damage to things. So like if I'm trying to crowd control, but like now, even with you saying like, yeah, you don't get hurt when you move through the enemies when they're frozen, like that makes me go, oh yeah. But you were also talking about how on a previous podcast, when you use it, it turns into like a clock where, you know, it freezes things around you, and like how powerful that could be, you know, especially coupled with something that does a lot more damage.
Well, it's like, I think, but yeah, like it's not really just that weapon. It's some other, I forgot what other weapon, like where you time it, like it goes around you. Like the weapon, like the ones that don't have a specific like location where it goes, like the whip, like it goes back and forward, like behind you, and the other one goes only when you're facing something, like the knife. There's that things as this area control, and that's like one of them. And when you start leveling up, you start seeing. I've realized there's a pattern that they're moving, and it's moving like at a clockwise pattern around you. So the point that I know where to go next, if like I'm in trouble. Like, oh shit, like I need to get somewhere, so I know to move down here with this. And I'm trying to think of the other, the fire, because the fire does the same thing. Yeah, it moves in a clockwise pattern also. So when I had both of them at the same time, man, it was just like, oh man, just beasting. Yeah, that game is it's incredible.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Don't try to up me. You can't up me. You don't know how to.
It's all right.
All right, so yeah, so now I guess our game of the year is going to be Vampire Survivor then, because that was your number 2, and my number 1, God of War, barely missed it. It's always number 2 to something, isn't it? Because it's number 2 to everybody, and against Elden Ring, and couldn't even get up here. I thought it was going to make it up here, but yeah. So the Super Pod Game of the Year is Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
I guess that's the end of the show. Unless we got something else we got to say. Is there any other award? Is there like the worst game award or something like we got to give?
I was actually thinking about that earlier today. Like, what would be my worst game or most disappointing? I think
we did last year. Yeah, most disappointing. I think last year we did like the best game we played last year. Even the best game we played last year didn't come out in 2022, but it was the best game we played. But I think, for me, Vampire Survivor is still that game. Yeah. For me, personally.
Yeah. The only one that would have made my list, I think, if I had games from previous years, like stuff that I had played first would be Astro's Playroom. I think that's a fantastic experience as well.
Oh, goddamn, you would have had Astro's Playroom over Tinykin?
Not number one necessarily. I'm just saying,
not
made my
okay.
list at all.
Yeah. Oh, okay, made you. Okay. All right.
No,
Yes. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Like, well, the game I played Persona 5 Royale. First time it's been on Xbox and PC, but it's it's been around. And I played the Trails games. They've been around though. I'm just late to the party. And what other game I played that came out previous years? I did play Cyberpunk, but that one I made my list. I played. I can't even think of something else. Or the Nornery game stuff. They might have made my list. AI Summoner Files 1 would have made my list over Nirvana. So yeah. So that's it. Anything else?
I think get wrap
talk
it
us out of here.
All right. Thank you guys as always for listening. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStallworth5. I'm at RegulusMB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. It has all of our podcasts, as well as links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there is a video version of this podcast. And audio versions can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and any other place you might find a audio podcast. Until next time, guys, talk to you later.
All right, see ya.